カイ様、つながりリクエストをご承認いただきありがとうございます。成長パートナーシップ会社アスナル代表のジェームス・カマンセと申します。弊社では今、国業界の成長に悪影響を与えている要因についてのリサーチとデータセットの作成しており、データ収集のためのインタビューにご協力いただける方を探しています。御社の事業内容を拝見させていただき、国業界に長年の経験をお持ちのカイ様とぜひ意見交換をさせていただき、メッセージいたしました。カイ様のご意見をお伺いして、弊社のデータセットにぜひ活用したく思っています。また、ご協力いただける場合は、データセットの完成時に無料のアクセス券をお礼として差し上げたく思っています。来週の月曜日または火曜日にお時間があれば、45分ほどお話できますでしょうか？緊張なお時間をいただきありがとうございます。カイ様のご返信をお待ちしております。よろしくお願いいたします。
Wow!
Maybe
Amazing!
that.
So, Nan-san, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much
Awesome.
for amazing self-introduction. How do you
Thank you.
feel?
I feel a little relieved and nervous, but it's so good. It's good. I'm okay now.
Amazing. So, can you tell me about yourself, who you are, where you're from?
Hello again, everyone. My name is Nalu Komanse. I'm originally from Hawaii, and I live in Japan now. Lived in Ebisu. I came originally with one for a job, and I've been here just over 4 years now. Yeah, and I'm loving it a ton. Nice to meet you all.
Amazing. Welcome, welcome. You actually did this amazing self-introduction because when I met you, almost like you couldn't say can I order some food, you know? And then suddenly like you come back to me like with lots of business keigo sentences and like you're blah, 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 you speak so fast. I really impressed. So, what's going on?
Thank you so much. No, I think it's I just been lucky having the course is amazing, program's amazing, and I got lucky with some awesome instructors. So I think that's definitely it.
Amazing. And you can actually tell me whatever it's possible. And you work for Amazon, but also right now you are having some new business plan or something like that.
Yeah, so like I think that's kind of it, and maybe we can edit this part
Yeah,
separately.
yeah.
And that's kind of where, as these past kind of maybe since September, and this is like it's been quite awesome to both learn Japanese in a way that is useful, and so both kind of the business that I'm building and like what I'm learning to build that business, in addition with my Japanese learning, I've paired them both. So I've used a lot of how I work with my coach or my instructor. It's all geared towards how I'm building the business. And so it's been really nice to kind of be in that same mindset all the way through from like what I'm learning into what I'm putting into practice. And so like you mentioned, I'm really excited about this introduction because I'll go live with it here this week already, now that I'm a little bit more comfortable to kind of say it and practice it more often. So that's kind of been how I've been working.
Amazing, amazing. So what is your plan so far this year, especially?
Yeah, no, so I think you nailed it on the head. So the platform that I've been using the most is LinkedIn, and then I'm finding a lot of the connections. Some of them are only in Japanese, and that's kind of where, to your point, where I've really wanted to learn how to connect and introduce myself in as you saw earlier. And so it's leveraging those other social channels, and at least I feel like to your point, you can also get a much closer connection if you're connecting in the connections mother tongue. So that's where it's been a big help.
Amazing. Totally different conversation, but it's also your progress in Japanese itself, Japanese language. When you actually came to Japan for the first time 3-4 years ago, did you have any knowledge about Japanese language, or you came to Japan with almost zero?
Basically zero. I came in, just kind of been figuring it out since I got here.
Amazing. And now you have a lot of actually conversations. So how is even the personal life, when you go to even izakaya or something, do you feel like different than when you come here for the first time?
Yeah, it's really, really nice. I think and then also like in addition to like the business phrases that we've been practicing, or this business phrase, what's been nice has been practicing kind of just like personal interactions. So I've got a lot of friends that are baristas that are around at least Ebisu where I live. Equally like a couple of the, ramen restaurants, and then also like the gyoza restaurants. Been getting close to them. And so like being able to understand more what they're asking has been really, really nice. And just like instead of just kind of nodding and smiling, it's just good to understand and just talk with them.
Yeah, it's totally different. You just, you just say yes, yes.
Yeah.
After you can really say something. And then, here in Japan Language Factory, We have a specific like learning structure. We don't start from hiragana, kanji writing, or we don't actually even focus on too much testing, grammar skill or something. So far, what do you think is your experience?
You know, I think I actually have come to love it. At first, I was a little nervous and kind of unsure if like I was doing it right or this was how to best utilize the courses. But I think as I've come all these classes at this point, I've really come to love this learning style because I think to an extent it gives both like it really puts the what I'm learning to what I want, like really to what I want to learn. And then what I found is that if I come asking to learn how to say a specific phrase or like in this case a longer introduction, I've been able to pick up and utilize that longer version in smaller portions. And I think that style of learning has been much more fun and interesting versus like a formal, the other classes I've taken, if that makes sense. That's what I've really liked about how Japan Language Factory is designed.
Amazing, amazing. Especially, Japanese language, most difficult language, of course. When people actually ask you, like, hey, Nan-san, like, how do you really learn Keigo? How did you learn sentence structure? What will be the best answer? What do you think?
I have to give credit to my coach slash instructor Shinsuke-san because I think it probably was maybe when we were maybe 4 or 5 weeks in where he was a bit, and I appreciate him for being a bit strict with me on how I'm learning. And he at first he was like, so I was telling him how I was practicing, and it was like, oh, I was saying how I just usually like read the script, and he's like, why do you do that? Like that's not how you're learning the best. You learn the best by listening and following. And I was like, oh, you're right. And then he's like, yeah, then just do that next time. And so I think like what I can say is the best that it was almost a really kind of like aha moment to an extent where I was like, maybe that's the best way I should practice. And so what he's been really awesome to do, in addition to like the recordings from class, he does separate recordings at a really good speed. And I've been listening to practice instead of like reading the lesson notes that we go over. I've just been listening to him while I've been either working out or on the treadmill or something. And that has been really helpful for how I practice. So I think to your point, that's been the best way how I've been learning through Japan Language Factory.
Amazing. So
True.
finally the answer was listening and following.
Yep, that's it.
Amazing. Now-san, do you want to actually give some message to the people who is struggling many years? What is the advice to them?
Oh, wow, asking me for advice, this is crazy. Maybe what I'll say is to those that are trying to learn, hey, I think as Kai-san knows here, and along with my instructors, I had started with the program over 2 years ago, and I got nervous in practicing and also just being consistent with my classes. I had let other things kind of take over, but as I'd come back this year, I think it's kind of just maybe my best advice is to kind of just keep with it and make the learning fun. I think up until I had come back, I was putting a lot of pressure on how I was learning, which made Japanese not as fun as it could be. And then as I come back towards the second half of 2024 to take the classes again, I put less pressure on myself on how to learn and rather just enjoyed the learning itself. And that had been really amplified how much I was able to pick up and just have fun. I look forward to every weekly class now, and even through vacation, it was something that I still wanted to like not miss because it's like I didn't look at it as a class every week. I looked at it as something that just was really fun for me to get to do and grow in. So maybe that's my advice, is to try and make learning much more fun and don't put as much pressure on yourself.
Amazing. And then I can say as extra is you can more see the reason why I need to do this.
Finding the why. Yeah, there you go.
Right. Thank you so much. And Nelson, so you're going to actually have more and more progress this year. So please join
Yes.
again and then tell me your life progress.
Of course, for sure. Will do.
Thank you so much, Nelson. またね。
またね。